Yes. Yeah. Start.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Foodyaari, I, Ms. Gunjan Sharma, would like to welcome our esteemed guest speaker today, Dr. Shivanand Shirkole, and all the attendees as well. The topic for today's session is scientific article, read, write, and publish. Let us start the session by introducing our guest speaker, Dr. Shivanand Shirkole. He is an associate editor at Taylor and Francis Journal. He has worked as an assistant professor at ICT Bhubaneswar. As an enthusiastic researcher and editor, he had published more than 17 publications in various journals. He is a passionate for innovation and technology for farm to folk solutions. Sir has completed his PhD from National Institute of Technology, Rourkela. We are very honored to have you as a guest speaker today. Before hand over the session, I would quickly like to introduce everyone to Foodyaari. Foodyaari is one-step educational platform for all your study needs and information regarding various aspects of food science and technology. Here, you will get a comprehensive learning experience in the form of quizzes, articles, news updates, pre recorded and live courses, and much more. Not just that, but also we connect you to a large number of food professionals so that you can learn and grow together. I request the audience to type their questions in the chat box, which will be answered later. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, and good evening to one and all present over this online platform. And it's my great pleasure to interact with all of you with this live session. And thank you, Gunjan, especially for introducing and just short introduction about the Food Yari and what exactly the activities you are running for the different. What about you can say the dedicated minds and passionate hearts, especially in the food sector. And we will start with the today's interaction, that is how to write, how to read, write, and publish the scientific article. I hope the screen is visible to all of you now, isn't it? The slides.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the means my presentation is visible in slideshow mode, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here quickly I will go through this the both the what we are here as a author, especially for this presentation. Myself, Sivanand Shankar of Shirkoi, and presently working as assistant professor in Department of Food Engineering and Technology at ICT IOC Bhubaneswar campus, Odisha. And as a part of my professional activities, I am also working as an associate editor for journal Drawing Technology and International Journal from Taylor and Francis. And here is my mentor, Professor Arun S. Muzumdar from McGill University, Canada. And he is the editor-in-chief of this journal, that is Drawing Technology. And he has established this journal in 40 years back in 1983. So the upcoming year 2023 is the 14th anniversary of this journal. And we are dedicated for journal not only for food, but multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary research for the drawing throughout the world. So here today we will discuss about the scientific article, how to read, how to write, and how to publish the articles. This presentation it will be going to helpful for not only for scientific article, but it will be helpful how to prepare a content, how to write the content for technical article, for popular article, and for blogs as well. So don't try to restrict your minds, especially you are going to write something for only the scientific article, but more emphasis will be provided on the scientific article, what exactly the requirement for the scientific article, and how it is read, and how it is going to write, and how it is going to create an impact on the readers. That is what is a very important thing. As all of you know, the writing, how before going to proceed, the well-known quote, especially that the reading is like a breathing in, and writing is like a breathing out. So this is the breathe in and breathe out process. So unless and until you are not going to read much about the whatever the topic you would like to put in front of the audience, in front of the readers, or in terms of the people, you should first go through that article. You should understand that article, try to think on that article, and put your thoughts and put your opinion in your own words. That is what we are calling the writing skill, that is breathing out. So what the thoughts your own after the critical analysis, or after your opinion about the whatever articles or whatever the contents you have gone through, and then you are coming with your own thoughts. That is what you are called as a writing. So here, the important thing is that scientific articles. So the one of the misunderstanding and one of the misconception is that if you are going to do some research, because most of you are from UG, PG, or PhD, maybe there is a misunderstanding is that whatever the research we are going to do, just publish in any journals, get done it with the any journals, just get the done with the any journal, either it is local journal or national journal or international journal, just for namesake, or publish in any local journals, publish in any local conference. So like that, our aim is not only to publish, but our aim and focus should be how our article or how our work should be read and cited in our field, whatever the field you are going to work. Suppose if you're going to work in food itself, but in food the major different sectors are there. Sectors means what I mean that uh, dairy, fruits and vegetables, grains, confectionery, and spice. So these are the different sectors are there. How we are going to focus, or how we are going to attract the audience to our sectors onto your research topic. So here, one of the important thing is that these scientific articles should be read differently, because these articles are different than the other text or the newspapers and the novels. Because here we are going to provide the scientific base for your knowledge, the scientific base for your topic, and that is what the different skill and the different strategies required to read these articles, so that you will understand, considering your the basic and fundamental of your science from your topic what you are going to choose. So here the basic thing is that communications, because you are writing the article or you are publishing the article, and you are reading or you are trying to reach with your topic with the maximum audience. So this is the kind of communications. It is not kind of a video communications audio, but it will be kind of through the text or through the writing articles. So it is always try to make it is as simple as, there is a no need or there is a no any requirement that you should be the from the very known the English background, or you should be the very known, especially the CBSE or convent and all. No, it is not like that. This is a complete misunderstanding, because myself is I'm from the completely the rural or agricultural background. I'm from the agricultural family, and I'm proud of that. So you should also proud of that, and there is a no any understanding, and there is a no barrier should you should keep how we can convey our information, how you convey our research, or how we are convey our thoughts to the audience or our thoughts to the readers. Sorry. So always try to simple communications as simple as possible. Otherwise there is a no any make it use some complicated or some well advanced or some kind of which is not usually use some English words and make it some the complex sentences. That is not at all required. Your English should be as simple as possible. It should read and it should attract the audience irrespective of whether you are from which country or which regions you are building. Otherwise some people will think that I'm from India and how I can attract the readers from UK and US. No, it doesn't mean. You can simply put your thoughts in simple words. No any issue with that. But idea should be the novel. That is the only basic requirement. Otherwise, simple English that is not going to affect your idea and your novelty. So here, the important thing is that how you are going to word or how you are to going to express your thoughts, ideas, or novelty in a simple. So if you can't or if you're not able to explain it or put it into the audience in a simple, it means that you yourself does not understand that concept or idea very well. So that is what the Albert Einstein says. If you can't able to explain simply something simply, you didn't understand it well. So right to impress or right to express, not to impress. So we are not going to impress someone's by writing with something kind of very advanced English language with some advanced English words and all. But our aim is to express our thoughts or express our novelties, express our innovations. That is what the important thing is. Consideration of your audience, that is what important thing. Because if you're going to target the international journal, the many countries where the English is not at all their primary language, they're not at all their daily usage language. So there also audience is there, they are very poor in their English. Like what in we used to focus on our mother tongue, either whatever the regional language or national language we are. But sometimes we are also poor in our English itself. So same situation in globally. If you think about US, UK and all, okay, fine. But think about other countries, they have their own regional languages, they used to prefer the regional language. So consideration of that audience, it is also important, and what are the writing methods you are going to use to express your thoughts, that is also very important things to reach your audience. Now, in this presentation, the contents what I'm going to discuss. First section, we will discuss about how to read the scientific article, followed by how to write the scientific article, and then we will move towards how to publish the scientific article. So first, we will go about the how to read. So reading is the skill, and what are the steps we should require and we should follow. It is not like that. It is the mandatory. Not you should follow the whatever I will discuss. Whatever you are going to comfort or how we are going to comfort based upon your understanding level, you can go through that level as well. There is not required what I'm going to step or what I'm going to discuss right now. So here it is the three pass approach. So what are the three pass approach while reading the scientific article or technical article? So first pass or the first step is skimming and scanning. So if you're holding any or if you're coming with any scientific article or scientific published research article, so just simply scan it, just look at that article, what is the title, what is the content and other things. So carefully read the title and abstracts, just go through the sections and subsections but ignore the everything content and read the conclusions. So if you're trying to come up with some kind of ideas, then well and good. If it is not understanding even the title, section, subsection, abstract, conclusion, then you go for the second pass. Second pass, what it is, reread it and interpret it. Then again try to go through this paper, try to go through this content in detail, just try to look at the figures and diagrams without reading its content. So what exactly the figure and diagram would like to convey the message, would like to convey the technical data. So simply figures and diagrams itself is sufficient to understand. Try to attract or try to gain some knowledge, and then try to go to the whatever the illustration they provided in that particular paper. Then after going to this data and content, try to interpret the data first, looking after the captions, make sure you have distinguished the main points. If not, then go over the next or text again. That is what we call it the third pass. That is again summarize and understand. In this, in third pass, again try to go through these papers with a greater care. In this, grasp the paper content but not in details. And whatever the bullet points or whatever the data you are going to understand, try to put into the bullet forms. Try to make your own notes so that you will understand in better way. So that is what first pass, second pass, and third pass about reading the scientific article. First, look the papers. Second, try to go to the content. Third, try to go to the content and understand what exactly figures, diagrams, and others they would like to convey through the tables or content and whatever things. Second thing, before going to read the scientific article, you might have came across the word that is the review of literature or literature survey or the critical reviews or comprehensive reviews. These are the different terms are used. So what is the basic difference between these? Literature survey means suppose you would like to go with something, the technical term like pasteurization or blanching. Let's take example of you are going for the pasteurization, and whatever the done work done by using the non-thermal techniques like pulse light or pulse silk or cold plasma, the pasteurization techniques, and you would like to go whatever the work done or reported in last 5 years. So simply if you're going to enlist in chronological order, especially what has been done in 15, what has been done in 2K 16, 2K 17, 2K 18, 2K 19, and 2020. So like kind is the simply the literature survey. But if you are going to compare in between what has been done in 15 and what should not be done in 15 and what has been done in 16, so if you are going to compare in between the years, in between the authors, in between the techniques, in between the findings, so that is the critical review. And that critical review, if you could try to going to compare in between the techniques, in between your critical thoughts, and you are going to instead of expressing that review into the broad things, if you try to make it the gist and compressed one, so that will be the comprehensive reviews. So this is what the exactly it will work, even though this entire work has been already done by someone else, but the same data or the same information you would like to put in or you are going to put into the short and gist data. So that is what the important thing, the literature survey what is things, and the critical reviews what exactly it means. Now in literature survey, these are the three paths we can approach. So you can use the academic search engine. So what is the academic search engine? I will explain in later slides. So what are the search engines are available with us? Find a share and citations, repeated authors, names in the bibliography. Suppose what is the bibliography? What is the references? The actually this is the synonymous words we can use, the references and bibliographies. So here we are using at the end, means what are the papers we have chosen, especially to the paper that contained, or to prepare or while using or doing some research, what are the papers you have gone through. So that is you are expressing, or that is you are enlisting in the list of references or the bibliographies. And the last phase, that is what are the top conference, suppose in the food engineering or food science or food technology, what is the top conference are there, and in the top conference what are the renowned speakers are going to speak about the topic or the papers. So try to collect that information from the conferences, high quality related works, and search engines, citation bibliographies and conferences. So from these all the resources you can get the recent and recently reported research articles, let's say target about 5 years, 10 years. It's always better to focus on only at least last 5 years or last 10 years. No need to report what exactly has been done before in 1990, 1970, 1960, 1950, because lot of technological interventions already reported in between that particular techniques, in between that particular literature. So try to focus on early, as means as recent as articles. Otherwise there is no any point if you mentioning something about which is reported in 1980 or 1985, and you are citing now and you are discussing, okay, if something any fundamental things or something any fundamental research, then fine, you can cite those articles. But there is no any requirement, and there is, we are not supposed to write the old articles and discuss those articles after 20, after 3 or 4 decades. It is not at all required, because a lot of technological interventions are there. Try to focus on what are the technological novelties, innovations and interventions has been reported in latest years. Now, this is what, while surveying the literature, what the Professor Muzumdar or my mentor, he has been reported, it must include the innovative aspect with more emphasis on recently reported the critical and the scientific studies. It should focus on science and then innovative applications reported in recent 10 years. It should be a critical assessment instead of the literature survey. That is what I was talking. No need to write or enlist the chronological order, whatever the research article or review article are reported in the literature. So it should be the critical assessment. You should develop a critical thinking, because science or the research, it means the critical analysis, it should be there. That is what it is expected. It doesn't mean that suppose in second year or last year of your btech or last year of your mtech or in between phd or in between a job, if you assign some kind of topic for research, it doesn't mean that you will get some opinion from x, you will get opinion from y, and then just simply what x and y told to you and execute and then report. No, it should not be. It should be your critical thinking. If I'm using this, if I'm using this one, then what will happen? If it is going to happen, then how I can improve it? If it is going to improve it, how we can make it some novelty? So that kind of critical thinking, critical analysis, that kind of inputs should be there from your side. So it should be the critical in-depth review. In view of explosive growth of technical literature, it should be the comprehensive and selective and critical. It may focus more on the literature, that is the recent literature. That is what expected in critical reviews or comprehensive reviews, rather than literature survey. Now, before you step, especially for writing or reading the scientific article, 6 steps are very important. Think about why you want to publish your work, whether it is publishable or not. Simply you should not put something any it is irrelevant or it is not at all with a particular quality or expected or novelty, and put it into something good journal or target some good journal or try to publish in any local journal. It should not be. Otherwise what will happen? Simply you will generate a electronic garbage, nothing else. It should be the novelty. Otherwise what will happen? If someone is going to some data or some topic has been already published by something in us or uk, simply you are downloaded it and then changing with some sentences, changing in some structure or some data, and same something you are going to publish in india, nothing else. It is simply you are generating the electronic garbage, nothing else. It is not at all useful. So you are not going to get a particular citation, particular attraction, or you are not, your research is not going to get attracted with such kind of practices. Then decide what type of manuscript you would like to write, whether it is the review article, whether it is the research article. Choose the targeted journal. Suppose your work is completely focused on engineering, then better to focus journal of food engineering. Suppose if your work is completely focused on chemistry, then better to focus on food chemistry or journal of food science. If your work is completely focused on microbial aspects, then better to focus on journal of international journal of food microbiology or food microbiology journal. Then the target journal is very important, considering your area or considering your sector we are going to focus. Pay attention to the journal requirement, that is a very important, because whatever the publishers like Elsewhere, Taylor and Francis, Wiley, whatever the journals are there, so the journal requirement is very important. The scope of journal. Suppose if journal is completely dedicated for food microbiology and something you are going to focus on something engineering or modeling and mathematical modeling kind of thing, then simply they will reject because this is out of their scope. So that is one of the criteria for rejection. So pay attention to the structure of paper, because each journal or each publisher, they're having their own guidelines. So structure is very important. I'm going to discuss in detail about these also. Understand the publication ethics to avoid the violations, because publications ethics are very important considering the Indian situation. Because what happen if suppose some data is published in any journal in any university from South India, just simply take the thesis, get it some modifications, publish in any other universities or get the degree. That ethics, this is the completely and highly unethical practices. You should not do that one. Otherwise you are simply cheating with the science and simply cheating with your own logic and your own thoughts. You are not going to create some kind of value to it. So ethics are very important, and it is not should not be violated by anyone else at any cost. Then we just gone through the 6 steps, but before you're going to start, the qualities of the publishable findings, what should be the quality? That is, suppose the law of gravity, it is applied by something with the apple, but if you're going to apply for orange, then there is nothing in novelty. Same thing, but with something different product and ideas, it is nothing going to work out. So the new, nobody has already published or such finding before. Then useful, the findings have the important and practical use. How the important applications, the practical applications or industrial applications, how it is going to solve the industrial problem, how it is going to solve some social problem. So that is what the important things. The quality of publishing article, it is very important before you are going to proceed with the publications point of view. Second important thing is thinking out of box. So no need to publish or no need to focus on whatever what has been done again and again and again and again with the literature. So thinking out of box, then only you will get attracted towards the maximum citation, maximum readers, maximum researchers. So it will get maximum popularity of your work and your own thought process as well. Because simply paper means it is your thoughts we are putting into the text format, that's it. Then important thing is identify the hot topics. So that is what the important things. So literature survey, it will give a clues sometimes, like unexplained findings or some controversies. Like suppose you are going to use ohmic heating. So ohmic heating itself is a mild heat treatment, but it will give, or suppose like example of pulse electric field, it will give mild heat treatment as well as it will give the non-thermal effect with because of electric field. So microorganisms are going to kill with the thermal and non-thermal effect. So what is the mechanism in thermal? What is the mechanism in non-thermal? Like especially the electroporation, or it is maybe reversible or irreversible. And thermal means how it is going to rupture the cell membrane. So that kind of controversies, whether it is real it is there or not, whether it is controversy or not. The best example is microwave. Some people will think the microwave radiation itself are killing the microorganisms, but some people are thinking microwaves are heating the food and that heat is killing the microorganisms. So these kind of controversy you should find the clues and then try to understand what is the hot topic or what is the hot content from that paper. So it will give the more novelty or innovations, or add some novelty and add some innovations to your work. Then before you start, logically organize your ideas. Though these are the four questions you should ask to the readers, or you should ask yourself. First one, why did your study need to be done? That is the part of introduction. What did you do? That is the method. And what did you find? That is the results. And how will your study advance the field? That you will bring some novelty, some innovations, or some technological interventions that should be the part of your discussion. So these are the four questions for your readers. So they will, you should answer these four questions under these sections like introductions, materials and methods, result and discussion, and conclusions. So that is what the logical organization or logical organization of your thoughts and ideas. Now, the next is the first, the title. The first impression of your paper, that is, it title should be the size, short and concise. There is a no any always use of some kind of hot words or the buzzwords like low calorie, low fat, or some kind of novel techniques, innovative techniques. No, your topic should be the short and concise, and the content itself will attract the people. So the keywords, whatever you're going to use in title, it is the summary of your study. That should be your title represent. Then abstract. Abstract, this is the impression, the first impression of your paper. And the concise summary of your papers. So abstract, it is recommended within the 150 words, 200 words, 250 words, or 300 words. So you should able to write or put or compress your entire paper within this abstract. That is 150, 200, 250, or 300, whatever words or guidelines by that particular journal or publishers you should highlight. And inside that 150, 200, or 350 words, it should include background, what was the aim, what was the methods used, results and conclusions. So this is what the abstract is expected. Then coming to the point, the introduction. Introduction, you should broadly focus on background informations. What is the issues and what is the currently known issues? What is the problem in that particular field? And after coming to the background, after coming to the already reported data, after coming to the problems, then what is the specific aim or what is the specific objective of your paper? That should be the introduction. Then coming to the methods, what and who was used, it means sample and materials and methods. Then how it was done, like any particular general method, specific techniques, or any comprehensive techniques for food analysis or sophisticated analysis we have used, how it was analyzed, that is quantification methods, if any kind of chemical compound or anything, and if any computational methods or computational tools you have used, the softwares or the statistical test we have used, that will be the part of your analysis or the data, empirical data analysis or empirical data modifications or development of model or kind of any kind of equations. And results, like what did you find? So what did you find are logical presentations like initial observations, characterizations and applications. So this is all should be there in the logical presentation. So what was the initial observations, what was the characterization you have done, and how the applications has been made, especially for social applications or some technological applications or some kind of industrial applications. So that kind of data representation or logical representation should be there in your result and discussion. Then coming to the point, discussions, summary of your findings, that is relevance, that is similarity or differences, what has been already reported earlier, and what you have brought some novelty or innovations in your work. Conclusions, what do you want your readers to remember about your study? That is the conclusions. So you want, my work should be known for this and this aspect. My work should be known for this and this novelty. My work should be known for this and this technological intervention. So that should highlighted in the conclusion part. So key findings and implications for future directions should be highlighted in the conclusion part. So that is what the important thing is there. And now this is the four questions what I was asking about: introductions, materials, discussion, and conclusions. So this is again the interlinking. So your content of paper should be interlinked. Suppose the background informations, then current state of field, then problem in field, it should be connected with the objectives, then objectives connected with the result and discussion, and these result and discussion again connected with the problems, and these problems are again, and whatever the results are again related with the implications. So this is what we can see here, how you are going to interlink your ideas, why this study was need to be done, and this study is done, then how it is linked to the implication of field, what do you did and what did you found. So again it is coming to the objectives, materials and methods, and result and discussion, and how your study will advance the field, that is logically link your ideas throughout your manuscript. Otherwise it doesn't mean that uh, suppose you are writing some introduction, there is a no any introduction, there is a no any link between introduction, no any link between materials and method, no any link between result and discussion. Simply you are copying from one paper, putting into the introduction, another paper putting into the materials method, copy paste again put it into result and discussion, something it is irrelevant, something putting into the conclusions, it should not be there. Otherwise, if editors or whatever the scientific reviewers are there, they are already well renowned or expert in your topic. If you simply go through the headings and subheadings, they will understand what is the novelty in that. Based on that discipline, they will either choose for reviewer or either simply they will reject itself in first step. So that is what the important thing is. The title, headings and subheadings, you should choose or you should draft it very carefully. Then steps to publish the scientific article. We were looking into the how to read the article, how to write the article. Now the next step is how to publish the scientific article. To publish the scientific article, the first thing is what is your personal reason for publications. Some people will think that I want promotion. Some people will think that I want some fundings from industry or some government agencies. Someone will think that I want degrees. Some UG or PG student will think that I want PhD opportunity in foreign countries, so I want to publications. So what is your publications? But the important thing is that editors, reviewers, research community don't consider what is the reason behind it. They will simply consider this is the only science. So you may be considering that I want for PhD admission, I want to for MTech admission, I want for funding, I want for promotion, I want for some industrial applications or some industry job opportunities. But editor, reviewer, they are not at all bothered. They are not going to consider any reason for this. So how we are to going to impress that editors? That is also very important. Or the reviewers? That is also very important thing. So here, the choose your journal before writing your manuscript. So that is what the important thing. First, you should understand what is the aim and scope, topic, readership, and writing skill. Second, what are the author guidelines, manuscript structure, word limit, because nowadays word limit is decreasing drastically year to year. Earlier, the word limit for any research article it is 8,000, 10,000, 9,000 words, but now it is coming to 3,000 words, 4,000 words. Review paper earlier it may be 12,000, 4,000, 15,000 were there, but now the review paper itself is coming before 8,000, 10,000. It means you should write your report or you should write your results very short but very effective language. They don't want to create the garbage, because I will show you the I will give the example of drawing technology itself, so you will understand how the statistics or how the economics behind some publishers they are using. They are not going to create some garbage, because if you cite there more, if some publishers or some journals are going to get cited more, then it will benefit it to that journal. It will get subscription to journal, their income source, their subscription to journals by various universities. So it is again everything is interlinked. So it is very important to create or to meet their guidelines. But after evaluating the novelties and relevance of your findings, so you have to choose this journal very carefully. Then choose your journal before writing your manuscript, that is impact factor. Impact factor of journal is very important, and if it is higher the impact factor, selectivity increases, at the same time rejection rate also increases. So it is a very important. Then there should be the no plagiarism, because nowadays if you take example of the Hyderabad itself in India, this is a black publication hub center in India it is considering, because lot of fake journals, lot of fake publishers are reported nowadays. So simply if you pay 2,000, 3,000, whatever, you will get simply publication. So if you copy paste something, So you will pay money something, you will get the published, but it is completely non unethical, highly unethical, highly scientific, unscientific, and unethical. So in future you will get stuck somewhere else because of the plagiarism content. So if you simply google it, uh, the resign of some prime ministers or some leaders, something in UK and England, the people made the force to prime minister to resign based on the plagiarism content they have reported in, I think, his or her PhD thesis. So these were the issues later on in your academic career or later on your professional career. So better to make it novelty as pure as your own research, so there is no any plagiarism, otherwise later on it will create a problem. Like in what earlier happens, like black money, money demonetization, same thing will happen in scientific publication also. So back you will get shortlisted into the black publications, because if you contain these plagiarisms, automatically, not nowadays lot of softwares are available like Turnitin or words and other things. So simply it will track from which journal you have copied this line, from which journal you have copied this scientific article, from which websites you have copied these sentences. So simply it will track and you will get caught. So plagiarism is a very important tool or very serious issues nowadays considering in the scientific community while publishing the scientific article or the any technical article as well. So be aware about these plagiarism issues, ethical things, and whatever the regulations or guidelines expected from the publishers or the journal. Now, if your journal is ready to submit, then choose appropriate journal, logically organize your manuscript, effective writing that is clear and concise. No need to kind of put into the some kind of garbage or love story kind of things. No, not required. No need to explain in detail kind of buttering kind of things. No, it should be simple, clear, concise, and to the point. That's it. No need to write some kind of blah blah blah, some kind of story. It is not kind of, because it used to happen earlier. If you want to make a thesis very lengthy, then try to put some words, try to put some large images, try to put some large sides. But no, nowadays no one is expecting, everyone is expecting to the short, to the point, because nobody has that much time to go through your content. If you prepare a paper with some kind of 30-40 page or thesis with the kind of 200-300 page, no, not at all required. If you are able to come up with the thesis 40 page, 50 page, but that 40 or 50 page going to change the scenario or game changer, it will create a different impact on industry and the scientific community. So that is what the expected thing nowadays. Then publication ethics or publishing ethics. First thing is not submitted to any other journal. The very unethical practice in most of the universities or most of the organization is that try to submit the paper simultaneously to three journals. If someone is rejected, okay, someone is going to accept it. No, don't try it, please, because you are going to engage lot many reviewers, lot many scientific communicators, or lot many researchers with the single papers. So you are trying to journal a single journal, please submit to the single journal, wait for reply. If it is rejected, then try for another journal. But don't try to put your single paper at the multiple journals. This is completely unethical or unscientific, because sometimes what happen, you might be not knowing if two journals are there and the two journals are sending your same paper to the same reviewer, because if accidentally the reviewer is expert in that particular topic, so automatically he will reject from the both side, because he knows you are doing this unethical practice. So that is what happened. Then authors agree on the paper and journal. So this is the very important thing. Authors, the normal thing is that if suppose he or she is my good friend, so simply put his name, because our friendship, because our relationship. No, if someone is contributed for your scientific, then only put his or her name. There is a no any requirement of this kind of maintaining friendship here, because this is the completely professional, completely the scientific way, that if someone is contributed intellectually, someone is contributed by work, someone is contributed by research, someone is contributed by experiment, then only mention their names as an author. Otherwise you can simply acknowledge them in acknowledgement section in the paper. That is what the expectation is. Otherwise what will happen, if you simply putting lot many authors And if someone is going to create the conflicts later on, conflicts means uh, I supposed to be second author, I am supposed to be first author, but these authors are enlisted me in the fourth, fifth, or whatever the number. Then if or she or he is going to write mail to editor and create some kind of issues, the editor will simply reject your paper. That is no conflict of interest. Second, source of funding. Source of funding is also important. Sometimes what will happen, some research should be funded or must maybe funded by some university, funded by some government agencies, maybe funded by some industry itself. You must acknowledge their fundings with whatever the funding sanction number is there, or some title will be there, or some uh, grant will be there. You should acknowledge that. That is the ethical practice. Authorship contributions. So nowadays, most of the journals are asking authorship contributions. So what is the contribution of this author? Whether he is the conceptualizer, whether he is the executor, whether he is the planner, whether he is the original writer, whether he is the original reviewer, whether he is the original, he in terms of software or in terms of tool or in some terms of any analysis, what is the contribution of that author? You should mention. That is the mandatory nowadays. And next, ethics is original and unpublished work. That is what I was talking in earlier slide as well. So this is all about the publishing ethics. Now, the publication cycle, especially the journal where I'm actually working, I'm just explaining this cycle. First one, solicit and manage the submission, then manage the peer review, edit and prepare, production, publish and disseminate, and archive and promoter use. So this is the cycle which is mostly, this is the generalized cycle, not specifically the example I have mentioned here. This is the generalized cycle which is most of the publisher or most of the journal they are using. So now this is what I have mentioned. The any journal here you have seen 190,000 annual downloads or views, or here you can see the speed and acceptance. Here mentioned is the 30% acceptance. Means suppose this journal is going to be published 16. Here you can see the volumes 2021, 16 issues, and each issues the on an average 12 articles are here. So 16 issues per year, that is 2021. 16 multiplied by 12 article on an average in each issues, so 16 into 12, that is 192. So 192, it means that is the accepted rate is 30. So it means obviously in year maybe 600 or 800 articles have been submitted, but out of that only less than 200 got selected, remaining are rejected. So now this is what the scenario is going to work. So now we can understand the speed, because the speed is very important. Because nowadays some journals will take 3 months, some journals will take 4 months, some journals will take 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. So that is what, because it will get stuck by some reviewer, it will get stuck in between some process. So that is what the very important thing. Otherwise it will be very difficult problem. So how we can expedite? Some people want as early as possible. So you should think the journal acceptance rate, which one is the good, which one is the high impact factor, which one is the with the good acceptance rate. So this all the factors you should consider while choosing your publisher, while choosing your journal, while choosing your domain area. That is what the important thing. Otherwise you will get stuck in somewhere, it will take a lot many times. So now each journal having their editorial board. Editorial board means someone will be the editor chief, especially in my journal where I'm working. The Professor Arunesh Muzumdar, my mentor, is editor in chief. Then Professor Shakaman Devastin, then editor, associate editors like RMIT or Canada or China University. Then again, he's from Delhi University, Canada. Associate editors like whatever here, Queensland or Saskatchewan, McGill University or ICT. So these are the editors list. So once if you submit the journal to the journal portal, so it will be immediately visited to the journal administrator like editor or chief editor. They will look into the title, the content, and then simply they will reject it, because they are very expert or the renowned in that particular field and topic. They knows what the exactly the paper content says. If it is repetitive thing, simply reject in first step itself. If something novelty, they will pass on to the senior editor. Senior editor will pass on to the associate editor. Associate editor will pass on to the reviewers with that particular expert. Those who are in that domain are there. So that reviewer will check with your article. If someone will give some bad comments or some very critical comment, you have to answer it. If some reviewer is satisfied or happy with it, your article, then he or she not going to give more comments. Again, the reviewer will provide to the associate editor will provide to the senior editor, then senior will convey your comments or comments from that reviewer to you. Then again you have to work on that comments, again submit to the portal, then again it will go into the same channel, and this all channel they are going to accept with your revisions, then it will get finally get accepted. Otherwise, if in between this chain someone is not satisfactory with the revision or quality, simply they will reject. That is what happening now. Here is the best example, because you will think that you are going to submit your paper, then editor should respond your paper or your article within 1 or 2 days. But the basic, reality, this is what the scenario. Almost all the editors from the journals, because you are the only not going to communicate the any article, there are lot many or thousands of articles going to get submitted by many researchers globally for the every journal for every publishers. So all the editors are very busy. So here simply they will reject if it is not published. Then how to deal with these editors? So there is a sometimes fight between these authors and editors. So you will claim that this is my novelty work, but editor is not going to accept because he is the expert in that field. Whether it is the novel or not, he is going to decide, or he will understand. Even though you are claiming, so my work is very innovative, some novel, but scientific community being an expert in that field, they can easily judge whether it is that best novel or not. But how to deal with the editors, that is one of the basic things. First step is selecting the right journal. First thing is that up to date complete list of citations, rough count of which journal you have cited most of the articles. Suppose you have prepared the scientific article and you have 30 or 40 references or citations, and out of that 15 or 20, means almost 40 or 50% you have cited from food chemistry. So better to submit it to the food chemistry, because you have talked more about the food chemistry aspect, you have talked more about the work which has been reported in the food chemistry journal, so preference should be your food chemistry. Then journal impact factor is another aspect. Then average time lag between submission and the actual publications, because if you check any scientific article which has been published, so the dates have been already mentioned: submission date, revision date, and final or the publication date. So from submission to publications, you can check the month they have took, or they have taken, especially 4 months, 6 months, 10 months, whatever. So based on that publication time, you can choose if someone is want to quick publications, someone is not at all bothered for quick, but someone is only bothered for work or publications in very high impact factor kind of nature. So they will wait for, because that novel journal or that journal itself will take care of their publicity, itself will take care about reviewers readership or citation in future. One paper can turn the professional journey itself. Then second thing is that general advice regardless of journal you select. First one, the guidelines for authors, that is very important. Length of manuscript, that is also very important. Keep all your co-authors in loop when you submit the paper. Sometimes what will happen, if you have some personal grudge and your friend is already contributed, but you simply removed his or her name, and without including his or her name you submitted the paper, later on that your friend or whatever the collaborator will take some serious note on this. So that is again problem. So you should keep, or you should take everyone's in confidence and make a loop, and then communicate to all the co-authors, communicate to all the who are in the group or who are in the collaborator or who are in the group. That is the good. Otherwise later on it will create some issues. Third step is cover letter. So every journal having means once if you portal, the first step itself is the cover letter. So don't leave this step at the last minute, because simply will that so and so title is there, so and so journal is there, I'm going to we are would like to interested, or we would like to publish into the so and so journal, kindly consider this for possible publications. No, you should write some small text. So why editor should consider your paper, what is the novelty, what is the industrial relevance of that particular paper, what is the social relevance of the particular topic. So that slightly 2 3 lines you should highlight, so that that catchy words or that catchy sentences make editors easy to take decision. That is the important thing. Do not just list your friends, that is what I was talking about. And do not salt the reviewer pool, because they will get irritated and simply they will reject your papers. So no need to put your simply friends, he or she or my friend, we both are in some kind of relationship. No need to put, because later on what will happen, later on what is the contribution, means contribution, that per journal contribution per authors. So that is the lot of statistics behind in Scopus. So they will go to contribute how many papers has been contributed by the single author. Suppose you have paper, you have published the papers 10 papers, but in each paper you have the 10 different authors. It means you have published the 10 papers by using 100 peoples. So it means 100 people, only 10 people can contribute only one paper. So this is the wrong impact. So if you are able to publish by including the 3 papers, by including the 2 or 3 authors and published what we can say 10 journals, it means each author is contributed 3 papers. So that is what the statistics later on it will work to consider your professional contribution. So from starting itself, you should take care of as minimum as possible. Try to independent. So no need to put everyone's name. No need to put anyone's name. This is the very serious issue later on. Otherwise, simply you will get irritated. These many authors or someone is going to, because nowadays rules are rules. Means if you take example of IITs, NITs or international universities, the rules have become a very stringent, so that if you are going to contribution, how many papers, how many authors, how many number of authors, what is the cumulative impact factor, what is the impact factor per author, what is the contribution by per author per paper. So lot many statistics are coming up, so you will get stuck later on, instead of running behind number of papers with the number of friends or authors. No need to provide. If you are able to publish 2 papers 1 year, fine, that is good. Then next step is pre-decision time. Suppose once if you submit your paper, then you will get very eager. So what will be decision for my paper, my thesis submission deadline is 1 month or 2 months, how it is going to select, how it is going to reject. But try to hold, be patient. Do not let your fear of rejection paralyze you. So try best, hold your decisions. And rejecting the paper without external review, it is a very bad thing. Because if this happens without external review, it happens because if you not properly handled their followed their guidelines, not properly submitted your journal with the respective journal, maybe it is out of scope, so simply they will reject without external review. So that pre-decision timing is very important. Then next is when you hear from editor, if after revision or after reviewing process, if you got some mail or receive some message, so immediately copy that editor's letters to all your co-authors. That is important thing, because in that mail or in that reviewer comments, reviewers made some comments on each co-author having different perspectives or way of looking towards that comments is different. So they will, if you come up on club all of the reviews, you will get a sound response to that comments. That is the very important. And sometimes they will communicate the decisions with the minor revision, they will communicate their decisions with the major revisions. Minor revisions if you are supposed to do in 1 or 2 weeks, major revision sometimes they may suggest you to add some analysis, add some novelty, add some rewrite, add some statistical analysis, add some instrumental analysis. So in this case the major revision it will take time, 1 month, 2 month, 3 months. So this is what the decisions you should take once if you get message from editor. Next is appealing an editor's decisions. So complete all the revisions, generate the reviewer response document, bullet form, what we can say rebuttal or reviewer's response sheet. So you should respond each and every comments. We are thank you for your valuable time. We are thank you for your responsible, your valuable input or suggestions. So and so you should properly respond them. No need to show your ego, no need to show your attitude, or no need to show your dominance, or especially okay I am not going to change. No, politely you should answer, If reviewer, sometimes reviewer also wrong, but you should convince them that you are the wrong and I am the correct. The way you should convey, that is what the important thing. Appeals rarely work. So appeal rarely work unless you have some legal and ethical problems with the editors. So that is what the important thing. The next step is responding to the reviewer's comment. That what here, answer all the reviewers comment point by point, no matter how irrelevant and wrong headed. But you should, whatever the steps or whatever the bullet points they have raised, respond them with the point by point. Think clearly about the reviewers comments and what you have written in that particular document. So that will give, within a single reviewer step itself, your journal will, your article will get published. Otherwise reviewer will get irritated with your response or revision. Again he will or she will give some comments, again you have to work. So this process will keep on continuing unless and until you will satisfy that particular reviewer. That is what happening in review process. So sometimes because of this miscommunications, because of these problems or conflicts, the acceptance date is keep on extending, so it will get delayed. Then after post decision timing, so what will happen, suppose your journal got selected or paper got selected, then paper handling through the system quickly and everyone's goal. Because even editor, even publisher, or even journal administrations, they have target quick, as quickly as possible the paper should be published or paper should be, decision should be made. The once it is done, then they will provide a proofreading. So the page proofreading, this is the last step where you will get opportunity to some minor correction. Even though some major mis corrections or some major some revisions are required, you can simply write a separate mail to editor, request him or her for the major correction. Otherwise in page proof itself you can make some corrections, so that is possible nowadays. Now how to be the reviewer, so that is the next step. Means what I was talking about right now, how, what is the role of editor, what is the role of author, now what is the role of reviewer. Reviewers means you can be the reviewers. I can, means I can send some invitation to you to review this and give some your comments, so you can be the means reviewer. So reviewer should be the blank. It should not be like some people will think that, if this is the paper from India, then simply reject it. If this is the paper from China, simply reject it. If this is the paper from US, simply some give bad comments. So that kind of biasness should not be there. You should be open, you should be blank, and you should be ethical to give some comments, the genuine comments to you, especially based on the paper and content of the paper. So that is what the reviewer's role is. Otherwise sometimes what will happen, if reviewer sees and yes, XYZ is name is from XYZ university, okay, simply review. If he is your competitor, because of some jealousness, so this kind of happens, these issues are happen most of the cases. It should not be, otherwise this is the unethical practices, unscientific. Then this is again the step for reviewers as well. Then what I was talking about, after these steps, how to read, write, submit, publications, editor role, author's role, reviewer's role, now the useful tools like academic search engines, from where you can get the papers. The mostly used, that is Google Scholar, then ResearchGate, then PubMed Central, then Microsoft Academic, Base, Core, Science.gov, Semantic Scholars, Baidu Scholars. Baidu Scholars actually they used in China. Then Womfarm Alma, RefSeq, Worldwide Science. So these are the scientific, what we can say, academic search engine. If you just go through these websites, put some your topic or article, you will get n number of articles which has been reported in earlier years. So this is the search engine. Later on you can get or collect it, or you can use these websites. Simply Google Scholar, like what with the Google page is coming, like that the Google Scholar is there, Google Patent is there. So these are the different links and pages available you can use. Now academic research database. Research database means Scopus and Web of Science. This is the very renowned or well known nowadays for database. So it will give the scientific, all the publishers, all the journals globally which has been reported. This is the database or globally scientific database, we can collect it here. So simply put any one word like packaging or low calorie or low fat food products. So you will get the papers, you will get publishers, you will get journal name, all the scientific data is everything. You can get the trend of journal, the trend of which country is leading for particular research, which scientific author is leading for particular journal, who is the top contributor, who is the top cited paper, which one is the cite journal. So all informations you can get it through this research databases. This is the academic research database like Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed, ERIC, IEEE, Science Direct, that is Directory of Open Channel Access, JSTOR. Now, journal selector and finder. Nowadays, all the publisher like Elsewhere, Taylor Francis, Springer, Wiley, Frontiers, Sage, they have provided their own finders. So simply, if you copy paste your title, copy paste your abstract, copy paste your keywords, they will suggest you the journals which is suitable for your, based on the keywords which have enlisted your title, enlisted your abstract, enlisted your keywords. So they will suggest the journals with what is the statistics of the journal, means what is the rejection rate, what is the acceptance rate, what is the impact factor, what is the speed of that acceptance, 1 month, 2 month, or first decision, second decision, or final decisions. So these all statistics are nowadays available. So just uh, Google it, journal finder for Elsewhere, Springer journal finder, you will get the link, and from that link you can get these options like copy title, copy your abstract, copy your keywords, click it, you will get details, results. Now, reference manager. Reference manager is the one of the basic and most required tool. Earlier, what happened? We used to cite or list the references manually. So it will give a lot of errors. But nowadays, everything is softwares are available. That is the Mendeley is the manager which is the freely available. EndNote and remaining which are there. This is actually the paid one. Paid versions or softwares or tools which are available, we can use it. Simply how to use Mendeley, you can simply Google it on YouTube. So you will get 5 minutes, 10 minutes YouTube video, where very simple and very easy. It will save your lot of time and lot of bring, it will bring a lot of precisionness in citation and references. So there will be the no any double citation, no any double reference enlistment. It is not going to, it will completely get avoided, and it will create lot of facilities. So lot of savage time in later on as well. And nowadays you can create the online library. So this kind of library will help. So suppose if you're working and something happened with your laptop, and if you created online library, so you have all the list of papers later on, this online library also you can use, which is freely available with the Mendeley or EndNote. So that is the possibilities. Nowadays it is there with this kind of managers. So these are the references which have been used for this preparing this presentation. And now, if you have any questions regarding this today's discussion or topic, now you are feel free to ask. Now this topic is, or this session is open for discussion.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful session and for providing us with the best knowledge. I am sure everyone have learned a lot about how to write a scientific article, what is effective communication, and how the three-pass approach, the difference between literature survey and a critical survey, and many more. So, I request all the audience to drop their questions in the chat box. Can we start with the Q&A session, sir?
Yes, of course, no problem.
So the first question is, can we publish one article in two or more journals?
No, it is not possible, and it is not recommended also. It is completely highly unethical practice. So it is better to publish a single article in a single journal. But the journal may be at your choice with high impact factor or whatever. But try to publish only one journal. No need to. No need to change only the title. No need to change the only content and get publications more. No, it is not required, and it is not good practice as well.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Moving on to the next question. Difference between a research paper and a review paper.
Okay, the review paper, the basic difference between research paper is this is actually your own work which has been you have done by you, and you are going to disclose or you are going to report your own research with your own outcome. And review, actually you are going to critically discuss the work which has been reported by someone else in earlier years. That means someone has been reported the same topic in earlier, and that you are going to discuss. But research, it is your own work.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much. The next question is how to initiate writing a research article. What are the simple initial steps?
Initial steps means simple steps is like try to check, means whatever the content is there. First try to create the outline. So what should be my introduction, what should be my introduction, if any flow is there. Like introduction in itself is flow is there, like what is the problem or what is there, how you try to create your own sentences, own paragraphs. And you suppose today you created one page paragraph or one text, then tomorrow you come and read your own text or your own writing. So you will understand what was the wrong in that. You yourself will get realize that how I'm improving my text, how I'm improving my writing skill. So that is the practice you should have. And then headings and subheadings should be provided so that you will understand and attract. So that would be the very good practice.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for answering all the questions very calmly. There is an important announcement for the audience who are willing to get a certificate for today's session. They are required to write an article on any topic of their interest and submit it on info@foodyaari.com. The link for the same will be provided in the description box. And also, it is a request to please fill the feedback form provided in the description box. With this, on the behalf of Foodyaari, I extend a hearty vote of thanks to our guest speaker, Dr. Shivanand Chirkole, who spared time from his busy schedule to guide us. Today, we had an opportunity to hear and learn from you. Thank you so much for this session. I would also like to thank all the attendees for being such a wonderful audience. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice day ahead. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Gunjan. Thank you all.
Yes.